As we've mentioned, President Biden spoke with China's president today.
That's right. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins us now for more on this. And Weijia, it's always great to see you. What more can you tell us about the call between Presidents Biden and Xi?
Well, we are still waiting for the official word from the White House for the U.S.'s take on it, but we know that what led to this call was a previous call earlier this week between the president's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, and his Chinese counterpart that took place in Rome that the White House described as intense and lasted for 7 hours. And after that meeting, there was still concern that China was still actively considering assisting Russia, whether it be military aid or other financial aid that we have confirmed Russia asked for. And because of that concern, these two sides agreed to this mutual call that lasted for nearly 2 hours this morning. So we don't know exactly what was said, but certainly the White House made clear that the president was going to deliver a direct message to Chinese President Xi Jinping that if you were to get involved in any way, if you were to help Russia out, there would be severe consequences. What those consequences are, we can only assume are another sweeping sanctions package like the one that we saw against Russia. Although what's interesting here, guys, is that before Vladimir Putin actually took military action, the administration and various officials were very candid in saying that it would be financial sanctions that Russia would face like they've never seen before. When it comes to China possibly participating, they have been very mum about this. We've asked them many times directly if the consequences would be in the form of sanctions, and the White House has so far refused to comment. So we don't know exactly what they talked about, but we know that the main purpose of this call was for President Biden to be very clear and very firm with the Chinese about what awaited them if they were to help Russia.
And Weijia, China's crucial here because not only did Russia turn to it for military aid and equipment to assist in the war in Ukraine, but it also has economic interests all around the world. And it's very difficult to get a sense of where China stands because of what it does and does not say. You shared earlier a message from China's Foreign Affairs Office. What did it say and what does it tell us about where Beijing sits on this when we look at what it does and does not say?
Right. I think sometimes what someone or what an entity, what a government does not say can be louder. And one thing that was not in this readout from the Chinese following the phone call was a clear and firm condemnation of Russia's actions, which we have seen from around the world. In fact, when the United Nations Security Council took a vote to condemn Russia's actions, China was notably one of the only handful of countries that did not vote in favor of doing that. China abstained in that historic vote. But what they are saying is that they do not want this crisis in Ukraine. Xi Jinping himself says countries should not come to this point of meeting on the battlefield. Conflict and confrontation are not in anyone's interest. And that's easy to say, but when you do have a potential fight in this, then, you know, again, we're not criticizing, we are really looking at and examining closely every single word of this readout. And again, the White House has made many points to say that, you know, China hasn't even spoken out against Russia. And this was another opportunity to do that they did not take. And so it will be really important to hear what President Biden says about the fact that China is not condemning Russia, because to your point, Errol, you know, there is a lot at stake here. There is no secret that China is very interested in becoming the capital T superpower economically in every way in the world. And, you know, the fact that they are aligning with Russia in any way speaks volumes.
So much at stake, and looking forward to hearing more about what actually transpired during this important call. Weijia Jiang at the White House for us. Thank you.
Sure, thanks.